What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling, and this is a news break. We have to unfortunately report, and I usually don't like reporting on these, but Tammy Sytch, also known as Sunny, who is a WWE Hall of Famer, most notably had her famous run in WWE during the New Generation era. She was unfortunately involved in a car accident. She crashed into and killed a man while driving drunk in Central Florida earlier this year. The results of this wreck unfortunately took the life of Julian Lasseter on March the 25th. The toxicology reports confirmed later on that the 49-year-old wrestling personality, Miss Sytch, had a blood alcohol level more than 3 times the legal limit at the time of the accident. On May 5th, investigators obtained a warrant to arrest Sunny in connection with the death. He was an elderly man about the age of 75. Sytch did post bail of $227,500 on bond and awaits the outcome of the case. Of course, there were many people who were trying to get comments from her. She hasn't responded to any of it. The Ormond Beach Police issued a statement expressing condolences to the family of the victim, saying our heartfelt thoughts continue to be with them as we proceed through the process. It is not the first time that Sytch has been involved in something like this. It's not the first time she's been involved with an accident, not the first time she's been intoxicated and done things. Unfortunately, we never like to see anyone losing their life. The wrestling personality stuff aside, nobody really cares about that. When you've taken the life of somebody else because of your own negligence, it's just a terrible thing for everybody involved. And I also wish my condolences to Lasseter's family, and hopefully that Tammy Sytch gets help, because this is not good. This is pretty bad. Some less dramatic news here. Roman Reigns, there's been a lot of rumors about him possibly leaving WWE, maybe going part-time. Roman did some promo at a house show recently where he said he might not ever be back in New Jersey. Now, I think a lot of people are jumping to conclusions about that. There's nothing definitive said yet. WWE has come out and said that they have Roman fixed in their plans for the foreseeable future. He is the biggest star in the company. He's the only mega star in the company. This tends to happen with WWE a lot too, where we went through it with the Cena years, where it was like Cena and then everybody else for a brief period of time. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk kind of rose up to be on the same level with him for a brief period of time. Of course, Bryan got injured and Punk left the company, so then it left it just being John Cena. So then after that, unfortunately for WWE, the Shield became a thing at that same time, and Roman Reigns was declared a standout from that. Now, right now in WWE, there's not a real clear standout as far as the next man up. I mean, some people might think Drew McIntyre. I'm not so sure about that. Randy Orton seems to be the most popular character, but he's from the generation before Roman Reigns, so I'm not sure he's going to be the future it guy in WWE. Or it could wind up being what happened before when Hulk Hogan was no longer the it guy in WWE, and they wound up going with Bret Hart, who actually had been around for a while and was not part of the new generation, although they made him a part of the new generation, despite the fact he was considerably older, as Shawn Michaels like to point out all the time back during that era. So it's not real clear who the next guy is going to be up. It might be Theory for all we know. But, you know, it's not going to be a surprise. Roman Reigns, you know, he's got model good looks. He's a big guy, muscular guy. Obviously, the NOI family, they've had a lot of success in wrestling. Obviously, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has had a lot of success in Hollywood. He is the biggest movie star in Hollywood. So the future is bright for Roman Reigns if he can act better than the stuff they give him in WWE. But if he can act, I mean, there's no limit to what he can do. I'm sure there are plenty of women around the world salivating over a movie with him and Jason Momoa. So we'll see if that comes in the future. Over in AEW, a very interesting thing happened a couple days ago. Ricky Starks, who is a member of Team Taz and the current FTW champion, he was asked some questions about the Team Taz and who he'd like to have in there. Of course, Brian Cage was formerly a part of Team Taz, but the person he said that he would dream being in Team Taz caught a couple of people by surprise. In a quote recently, Starks actually said, I mean, if I had to pick anyone to be in Team Taz, it'd probably be Sasha Banks. Not the first person to mention Sasha Banks. A lot of people in AEW would love to see Sasha Banks in AEW. I doubt that's ever going to happen. But then again, you never say never in wrestling, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. But it's very interesting that he picked Sasha Banks. And thinking about Sasha Banks and Team Taz, that actually would be pretty cool. Team Taz is one of the factions in AEW that doesn't have a female member. I've said about a year ago that I think a lot of the factions should get some of the females in there. We have seen some incorporated in there. Of course, Chris Statlander is part of the Best Friends. Britt Baker is loosely affiliated with Adam Cole and the Undisputed Elite, and so on and so forth. We've got the Bunny and Penelope Ford, and a lot of them are associated with other people. Sammy Guevara is in a relationship with Ty Conte. They're kind of their own little power couple thing going on there. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Team Taz does get a female member. But as for right now, I don't think they're going to get one. I don't see any female on the roster who has the charisma to kind of go with Team Taz and fit in there. But again, if there was an ability to get Sasha Banks in there, I think it would be tremendously huge for Team Taz to get Sasha Banks. They tend to be a more ethnically, this is putting it politically correct terms, an ethnically diverse group, and Sasha Banks, given her ethnicity and her heritage, would fit in perfectly well with them, and her confidence, she would definitely be a great member of Team Taz. But again, don't expect that to happen anytime soon. But that's the news. Quick news break for today. If you guys have any comments or thoughts on this, do you think Roman Reigns is going to be leaving WWE and going to Hollywood? What do you think about Ricky Starks suggesting that if you could put somebody in Team Taz, it would be Sasha Banks? And of course, if you want to share your condolences for Julian Lasseter and his family, who unfortunately were the victims of Tammy Sytch's drunk driving, let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Until then, we'll see you guys hopefully for brighter news and happier news here on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.